Hi, and welcome to the second episode of Ask a Broke-Ass LMHC. My name is Ami Cologne, and I'm a licensed mental health counselor in New York State, as well as a broke-ass LMHC. So today's episode, we will focus on acronyms. Acronyms meaning word salad. Okay, so word salad was a term that was taught to me by the clinical director of the place that I work for now, when I was interning, and she was my supervisor and the program director of the PROS program. So right now, I am struggling with remembering all of the acronyms in mental health. There are too many. I'll be honest, there are too many. But if you wrote them out all the time, that'd also be very annoying and time consuming. And, well, unfortunately, you remember the acronyms, but what happens is then you kind of forget what they stand for. So I went to the world of Google because I cannot remember any of the acronyms I mentioned. I only mentioned like one big one, even though in the last episode we talked about OMH, which was the Office of Mental Health. And now we're just talking about, I think we started with CACREP. So CACREP, which is a term you hear every time a student goes to college or grad school, basically, to get their master's in licensed mental health counseling. CACREP, according to Google, stands for the Council for Accreditation of Counseling and Related Educational Programs, commonly known as CACREP. And according to Google, it's an independent accrediting agency that assures graduate counseling programs throughout the United States and the world throughout the United States and the world meet standards within the counseling profession. So basically, if your program is CACREP, they're going to meet the accreditation of the counseling profession. And for, let's say, New York State Office of the Professions, they're going to check if you went to a CACREP school. I graduated from a CACREP grad school, and I will be paying for that probably until after I'm dead. Yes, I believe in Hades somewhere they're going to have me paying for shit. So that is what CACREP is. Now, we've got other ones. You know, a lot of word salad. Like when I worked for PROS, we had WSM, which was Wellness and Self-Management. How do I remember that? Because I wrote notes and ran WSM groups and wrote curriculums for WSM groups that I was running. So I had to remember, Wellness and Self-Management. The reason why we have these acronyms, by the way, is because OMH in the PROS program expects us to have these type of groups. And it also is good for billing. Like if, let's say, you're calling the health insurance companies, you have to go through you mentioned a lot of acronyms in them, and they tell you, okay, so yeah, we'll review their health insurance because they're going to this program. I got a few others here that I actually looked up because I can't remember anything. So you've got other places, like you've got other acronyms like, let's say, AOT. So AOT is Assisted Outpatient Treatment. I call it assertive outpatient treatment. The reason for this is because AOT is basically a civil court-ordered mandate for a client who broke the law due to maybe symptoms of their mental health, or that they get taken to court, and instead of going to jail, they are mandated to go to a treatment program. And they're also mandated to take their medication. And if they don't, they get taken to the hospital. The police get called and they get taken to the hospital to get their medication. That's usually what happens. A lot of clients that I work with or have worked with in the past at the agency that I work for become very upset about this because basically you're taking away their choice in a way. You're not really taking away their choice because they will always have a choice, but the choice will have consequences. But I feel personally that the acronym AOT, or the term AOT, it's not explained properly to clients. I kind of feel like when they explain it to them, if you don't do this, you're going to end up on AOT. It sounds like a punishment. That's how clients see it. What it really is a treatment program that helps them. It mandates, let's be honest, it mandates them to get the treatment that they need so that they can function, At the same time, it's also protecting them because, let's be honest, people, the stigma on mental health is still very much alive and well, And people don't understand it. So if you see someone who is symptomatic and is talking to themselves and walking towards you while they're talking to themselves, they might be having a conversation with whatever number their voice happens to be. Like number 58 just told me to go yell at something, and it happens to be you. If you are all about the stigma on mental health, you're probably going to either retaliate or you're going to run off. A lot of people have retaliated, and a lot of clients have ended up hurt because of that. So AOT is to prevent that, because when you're in a treatment program and you're taking your medication, it kind of helps you to function in a way where your symptoms are under control and people don't flip out. So that was AOT. Now, the next one I want to talk about is, let's see, ACT, which is ACT, it stands for the Assertive Community Treatment. I used to be on the ACT team about a year ago. I didn't last very long because of something that happened to me, which I will get into in another episode when I start talking about post-traumatic stress disorder, which, believe it or not, is a common theme in the world of mental health. So, and I'm not just talking about the clients. But the Assertive Community Treatment Program is also probably the highest paid by OMH, Office of Mental Health, because they're out there. They're out there in the community. And they're helping a very marginalized group of people with severe mental health issues. And they're helping the homeless. So they're going out there to shelters or on the street. We will go as an ACT team member, I remember going as far as looking for someone out on the street that was a client of mine and finding them under a subway and then saying, hey, I haven't seen you in a while. They are the ones, I call them, like, I see them as soldiers, because they go out there and they're not there to hurt anyone. They're there to help people. They are a very mobile healer. And they have a lot of work because it's not just working with the clients, it's also working with OMH. So they have to report their treatment plans to OMH. They have to have meetings with other ACT team members about their caseloads and how they're going to help them. They will go above and beyond a lot of the time, the ACT team. And it's a very intensive, highly organized community outreach, if you will, to help people out in the community. We'll go into people's apartments, we'll sit with them, we'll help them, we'll get a list of what they need, we'll give them service dollars. We won't give it to them really, but we'll go with them shopping with the petty cash that we're given, and we go out and help them to get the clothes that they need. We take them to Social Security and we sit down with them and we help them get their Social Security fixed, their SSD or their SSI, Social Security income or Social Security disability, which I will discuss in another episode. We actually go to their AOT court hearings with them, and we sit with them, and we are there to help them. That's what the ACT team is. And I say we because, as I said before, I was on the ACT team. So I have to say it was a great experience for me in regards to learning exactly what is out there in the community. And this is when I used to work in New York City. So that is what ACT or ACT stands for. So then we've got the APA, which is the American Psychological Association. That pretty much tells you what it is. It's basically, you could go, there's a website you can go on, and you can look up journal articles on there. You could look up things that they're talking about in regards to the DSM. Let's see, we've got the mission of the APA is to promote the advancement of communication and application of psychological science and knowledge to benefit society and improve lives. It is exactly what they said there. I've looked at the website. It's wonderful. It's actually, I used it a great deal when I was in grad school because it was a reputable website to use for research, and I did. Because they also use journal articles, which is what makes it great in regards to writing papers, and also for backup when you're a professional working as a licensed mental health counselor, and you're like, okay, I need to look this up. So it's a great program. It's actually a great association to work with. And then there is I think there's the AMA, which I cannot find anywhere, and I don't know why. But the ACA, the American Counseling Association. So the American Counseling Association is exactly what it is. It's the association for counseling for people who are mental health counselors. And it helps them keep up with the rules, with the new things that are coming up. There's the ACA Code of Ethics, which is a great book that I have. And I look at, and I actually can look it up online too. It tells you all the ethical guidelines that you need to know to be a proper counselor, because there are a lot of rules out there that can really hurt your credentials if you break them. So it's good to look into that. I always make sure whenever it comes to certain things, when I have my private sessions, I have gone online to look at my ACA Code of Ethics to see, okay, how do I go about this? And it helps me a lot, because that way I know that I'm not crossing any ethical boundaries, especially when it comes to having an ethical dilemma. And if you're working in an agency and you come across an ethical dilemma, if the ACA Code of Ethics does not give you the answer that you need, talk to your supervisor. It actually really helps, because they will sit down and explain it to you or help you get through that ethical dilemma. So that's about it for all the word salad for now. I hope you guys learned something. I know this is really short. It was kind of a spur of the moment thing, but I've been trying to come up with better videos. So thank you very much, and peace out.
I can ask you to pause for a minute, because I can clearly hear her digging in the litter box.
Okay. And she just stunk up the entire place that we are filming in right now. Thanks, Billy.